Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Marie Holiday, and today is Wednesday, September the 30th, 2020. And before we get started, I just want to remind everyone to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification button if you haven't. And with that being said, let's get down to business. The topic of this segment is going to be aware of the gig society. Be aware of the gig society, and I'm going to explain to the audience exactly what I mean by that. Be aware of the gig society, and what I mean by that is the cons, the negatives of the gig society. Because it seems like, from my observation, society seems to be glorifying the gig society and all this flexibility you have, and allegedly these people claiming they're making all this money from doing these different gigs, and making money online, and all of this, just glorifying this gig economy, gig society. And I just want to talk about some of the cons, the negatives of this. If a person, I have a couple sources of income, but I do also want to say is that I have a primary full-time job where I'm got full benefits. A gig ain't gonna give you that. So some of the cons of a gig society, if a person, I don't care how much money they making from these gigs, but one of the cons is you're gonna have to pay into your own medical insurance. And that can be very expensive, because if you got a full-time job, like my full-time primary job, I work for the state of North Carolina, so they pay a big proportion of our medical, and we play a very small percentage. But if you got a gig or working for yourself, or got these multiple streams of income, in which is fine with that, but on the flip side, you're going to have to be prepared to purchase your own medical insurance, dental insurance, life insurance. And if you got a family, that can even be more expensive, because if you got children, then you got to purchase medical insurance, life insurance, dental insurance for your family. And that can be very, very expensive. So that's a con to the gig society. Another con is, no matter how many gigs you have or how much money you're making, I hope you're wise enough to be invested into a 401 or individual or IRA account or retirement accounts. Because if you're not, then as you reach retirement age, and if you have not been wise with that money and invested into retirement, you're going to be in trouble as you head towards retirement. Another con about the gig society, if you're not wise enough in budgeting and also saving money for like emergency savings, just like any other body have to save emergency savings. So make sure you're wise enough to be saving money in emergency savings, and that can be a con for some people if they don't know how to manage that money. Another con to the gig society is I will hope that you're making sure you're paying your quarterly taxes, because when you're working full time with a company, you ain't got to worry about paying quarterly taxes in relation to having all these gigs and working for yourself and being self-employed. Another con to this gig economy is make sure that you are also paying into Social Security. So basically, you're going to have to either have an accountant working with you, or making sure you stand on top of paying into Social Security and etc. Because if not, you're going to be in a world of trouble as you reach retirement age. Another con to the gig society is everybody might not have great time management skills. So if you're making a living off exclusively gigs, you're gonna have to have time management skills so you can still be able to make a living, but at the same time have a balance. And a lot of people don't have great time management skills, they're just relying on gigs. Another con about the gig society is you're going to have to pay into workman's comp, you're going to have to pay into unemployment insurance, all of those perks and benefits that a person will have on a full-time job where we don't have to worry about none of that. But in the gig society, if you're making your living off gigs, then you're gonna have to worry about paying into workman's comp, unemployment insurance, purchasing your life insurance, your medical insurance for yourself and your family, and all of that, quarterly taxes, all of that. So that's a lot of cons to the gig society. You know, I'm not saying that all these things are impossible to do, but a lot of times when you listen to people talking about how great this gig society is, what they're not talking about is all this stuff that I'm talking about right here. And another thing I want to say is, you know, the gig society audience, this is not a new concept. This is not a new concept. All of my life, as far back as I can remember, or if I can recollect on my parents' life and grandparents' life, you know, folks had multiple jobs. Folks had multiple streams of income. So this is not a new concept. You know, people had multiple streams of income. You got people work full-time jobs and throughout their life. I can remember many people that I know, depending on their talents, you know, they would fix cars on the weekend, do mechanic work on the weekend, paint on the weekend, cut grass on the weekend, bake cakes and for the holidays, and make all this money through these multiple streams of income. So this gig society is not a new concept. It really isn't. This is nothing new, having multiple streams of income. I've had two jobs all my life. I've always had my day job and always had another way to make side money, rather it was selling on Facebook Marketplace or collecting bottles and making money off that. So this is not a new concept. So with that being said, I hope the audience got something out of this in terms of being aware of the gig economy. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification button. And I hope you all have a great evening. Simplify, simplify. See you next time.